Did you know that it was actually common among some early Christian churches that you would write and rewrite myths like the Jesus story to address the questions and crises that your community was facing? My name is Zach Helton. I'm an author and a minister, and I help people navigate healthier relationships with spirituality than the ones they were often handed. So for a lot of us in the deconstruction space, we were handed the Gospels like they were fully formed from heaven. Eternal truths written to address every question we could ever have. When in truth, they were written to address very specific questions at very specific moments in history. And when we start looking at different Gospels written around the same time, we actually see a lot of variation in how they tell the Jesus story. And each one seems to be focusing in on what was most important to them about the Jesus story at the time, based on the questions arising from their context. But there wasn't one objective, final way to tell the story. And rather than forbidden, it was considered an act of faith to take this story seriously enough to believe that it was alive, that it could bear new layers of meaning in their cultural moment. So they would rewrite it and rewrite it again as this form of spiritual exploration. Now, this practice was later condemned because it became threatening to centralizing authority. And it was easier to unify people and consolidate power by saying, these are the four Gospels we are going to believe. So get in or get out. But this tradition of trying to deepen understanding through re-narration never fully disappears. We have many rewritings of myths from the early church, and you can see this tradition continue through modern myth makers, like John Milton's Paradise Lost, or Sue Monk Kidd's The Book of Longings, or Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials. These are stories that let the myths interact and reform around questions relevant to us at our time. Questions like, what kind of spirituality actually helps us embody justice and loving kindness right now? How do religious systems become abusive? And how do we create healthier ones? Is there room for grief and doubt and unknowing in faith? Those are the kind of stories that I need right now. And that's the tradition I wanted to stand in when I wrote Meta Valley Gospel. What would the gospel sound like if it arose from questions that were most relevant to progressive, deconstructing, politically involved people today? So whether you read it or not, here's my hope. That we can consider what might be possible if we treated Scripture like living art again. If we loosened our grip on it as a tool for belief and control, and let it inspire our imaginations for the next leg of this journey.